Welcome back to Views with Hughes, your agenda for news. I'm Jerome Hughes, and if you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel and also click the bell notification so that way you'll be notified of future uploads and updates. Okay, so I'm going to share with you all two things today. Rings of Power actress, who I talked about yesterday, is saying that the casting is not tokenization, okay? But Amazon's diversity and inclusion quota says differently. And I'm also going to share with you all briefly another article about one fan who had an experience when he was a kid. And then it goes into detail about how the companies and corporations are using the same tactic to get us to buy into their the things that they're putting out there, which we don't want. All right, so starting with this one, the Lord of the Rings of Power actress says casting isn't tokenization. Amazon's diversity and inclusion quota says otherwise. This is on Bounding Into Comics. Now, before I start reading the article and going through and discussing it, I want to give you all the definition of token. T-O-K-E-N. Token simply means a thing serving as a visible or tangible representation of a fact, quality, or feeling. Using the sentence, I wanted to offer you a small token of my appreciation. In this case, there's different minorities out there who are actors who are using for representation. He's stating that there's no representation happening at all. So the article starts off with Nazanin Baniadi, who plays their character Bronwyn in the series. She declared that this casting for the series is not tokenization. Okay. She also stated that it wasn't stunt casting, and then she elaborated that it's not tokenization or a lot of things that have been used in past roles. Every person has been cast because they are the best people for those roles, regardless of ethnicity and race. And I find that super empowering. Okay. Now, a YouTuber, I talked about him before, named Just Some Guy. He pointed out back in February that Middle Earth is basically Northwestern Europe, mostly England. Okay. Because that's where Tolkien's from. The native people of those areas are all white. So all the races that of Middle Earth would be white. And we know that's true because Tolkien described what they looked like. They were all white. Okay. And then he also added that actors can be non-white, and if they can pass as European with or without makeup, then they can play those characters. Just need to look the part. But casting non-white actors in a Middle Earth show is like casting white actors in a Black Panther movie. It makes no sense. And I can understand where he's coming from in that, because when you go to Black Panther comics, all the major characters are black. T'Challa, black. Shuri, black. T'Chaka, black. Killmonger, black. You get what I'm saying? Okay. Now, it wouldn't make any sense if there was a white Wakandan coming from there when all the citizens there are black. Okay. So the idea that people cast in the roles of the best ones for them falls on its face. Then it goes into detail about the very thing that I briefly discussed about what Amazon Studios did before. And that was the fact that they created what's called the inclusion policy and playbook to strengthen ongoing commitment to diverse and equitable representation. Okay. So this came out last year in June of 2021, where the Amazon Studios head Jennifer Salke put out the policies that includes where it says each film or series can be with a creative team of 3 or more people in the above line roles, like directors, writers, and producers, for example, should be ideally include a minimum of 30% women and 30% members of an underrepresented racial/ethnic group. This aspirational goal will increase to 50% by 2024. She also included and added that casting actors whose identity, gender identity, nationality, race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, disability aligns with the character they will be playing. Okay. And then aiming to include one character from each of the following categories in speaking roles, with a minimum of 50% of these to be women, LGBTQIA plus, person with a disability, and 3 regionally underrepresented race, ethnic, and cultural groups. A single character can fulfill one or more of those identities, and seeking at least 3 bids from vendors or suppliers on productions, one of which must be from a woman-owned business and one from a minority-owned business. Pay equity across casting, behind the camera staff and crew, and for vendors and suppliers. Now, the third bullet point makes it clear what Amazon Prime Video is actually trying to do. That they're trying to have racial, gender, and evenly sexuality quotas. Okay? Now, not only do they detail these policies, but their focus was on to ensure diverse representation of talent in front of and behind the camera and above and below the line, dismantle long-standing barriers to success in the industry, and inspect our processes so we do not create or perpetuate inequities. In other words, checking our privilege, and tell inclusive narratives to reach a globally diverse audience. Now, be careful with that third one, because the fact that there's right now a number of countries that don't want anything from the West. Prime example, Japan don't want anything from the West. We see that in manga and their anime. They don't want Western style anime because of the fact that, 1, it's not really anime because it wasn't made in Japan, and 2, they're putting in there the identity politics as well as other modern day political elements within that anime. And thirdly, China, they definitely don't want it. Now, they just want to be entertained. They did it before, but when they promote their stuff, they're not including any of the minorities, i.e. African Americans that are playing a role, or any other black people. Okay. Prime example, when The Force Awakens was promoted, they took the character Finn out of the poster when it was marketed in China, but in the US, they had him in there. Black Panther, the poster itself in America had all the major black characters in the movie with one white character played by Martin Freeman. But on the Chinese poster, you had Black Panther in the suit. Now, they say they're all for diversity and inclusion until they were trying to get money for that particular country. That's when they go ahead and hide the minorities. And also, South America. Countries in South America and Central America that were promoting Lightyear, they had signs outside of the movie theaters where they reminded the audience that it has elements of Western and American politics. So there was a warning. Okay, that shows that a lot of people don't want what the companies are trying to get them or force feed them. All right, now, when Amazon Studios head Jennifer Salke first talked about the Lord of the Rings of Power, this is what she said. As for many people need to watch Lord of the Rings a lot, she laughed. A giant global audience needs to show up to its appointment television as appointment television as if it's mandatory, what she means, and we are pretty confident that will happen. She's going to have I predict that it's going to be the opposite, and she's going to be in for a rude awakening. Okay. Now, before I get back to that article, I want to briefly talk about this one where the author, it can't come up right now, but the author briefly stated, talked about how ever since Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace came out, the companies just basically put us all under peer pressure to get them to watch the movie, to buy their stuff, by simply creating prequels of the things, okay? But adding in their own little sauce of it. Now, I'll be honest with you. I thought the prequels were all right. They could have been better, but at the same time, people wanted sequels, at least at that time. All right, or at least what I've been told. If you think differently, let me know in the comments below, okay? Now, moving along, Boniadi can claim that the casting of the show are for the best ones for them falls on it. Now, she can make these claims all she wants to, as it says, She can say that it's not tokenized and everything, but the fact shows that Tolkien's characters are all white in his novels, and that contradicts it as well. And even Amazon Studios, on top of that, made it very clear that they have tokenization policies in place for their productions. So in other words, she's trying to steer away from the fact that it's not tokenized or none of that. It's just, they got the roles for those who can best play it, no matter what their race is. Okay? So this is why they went on ahead and created this prequel. This is why they created this prequel, so that way they can go ahead and try to change the story's narrative. Bringing an allegory into it, if you will, modern day politics with diversity and, or as I call it, diversity done wrong. Okay? Let me know your thoughts below in the comments below. And also let me know if I went wrong anywhere with this video or any details. Please share with me those corrections. Also, comment your thoughts and questions and concerns about it. And if you enjoy what was shared in this video, please smash that like button, and also share this video to everybody on social media. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification so that way you'll be notified of further updates and uploads. Until then, peace.